I'm not going to lie to you, Don. People down here are starting to murmur that you don't have the balls to do it.
I don't care!
Yeah, I say you can do it.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another week of Muskies on Tap. I am one of your three hosts tonight, Gus Manty, bringing to you an episode on recapping the latest PMTT Eagle River Three Lakes. We did not really do a pre-talk on it last week. We had Doug Wagner on, and we just kind of did the whole interview and just chopped it up for a long time with him and thought that was solid, and we got done. We totally forgot about to talk about the PMTT, but we got plenty to talk about tonight. It's going to be kind of a quick hitter. We do not have a guest on, but let's introduce the other Muskies on Tap hosts on here tonight. Let's see. We got Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. Let's go with Max. Max, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good, Gus. I just had an absolute blast with you last week up in the Northwoods, just ripping around, having some fun with some good old boys. We were able to host Ryan Becker, Alex McLean, Alex Templeton. Shout out those guys for for roughing it with us for the week. Just had a blast bouncing around some different lakes, kind of leading up into the tournament, and yeah, big come down back to reality here. Start the week. But yeah, no, doing well. Excited to kind of chat over how things went this past weekend for all you guys that were following along the PMTT up in Eagle River and Three Lakes. We should have kind of a good recap here on what we were seeing, what was working, what wasn't working, kind of how the bite was, and a little bit yeah, just a full-blown recap. So without further ado, I will introduce our third co-host here. Haven't seen him in a couple weeks. Hoping that changes in the near future, but glad he popped down with us here this evening. Mr. Brian Eckel. Brian, how we doing tonight?
Doing great, guys. I think that will change in the future. I might actually be heading to your neck of the woods this weekend. And
Wow.
then, yeah, 4th of July right around the corner. But yeah, it sounded like, you guys had a good first day there. And after just briefly texting with you, it sounded like I made the smart decision to not find my way into the tournament. Big bug hatch, big open water fishing crap, maybe a trolling bite, everything that I absolutely love about musky fishing. So I cannot wait for you guys to break this down in the most enthusiastic way possible tonight. Who wants to kick us off? What was going on? At least day one, we'll start there.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
oh, go ahead.
well, real quick, Gus, I just wanted to see if you wanted to maybe just kind of go run down the leaderboard here real quick on just kind of how the tournament shook out and whatnot, and then we can get into how our tournament went.
Yeah, if you got it, do you got it up in front of you?
Yeah, let me pull it up here.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
let's ride through that.
Sounds good. All right. So for the tournament, man, it was we'll go through it. I'm not exactly sure how, but there was a lot of fish that hit the bag this past weekend for the tournament, and over 80 fish were caught. Just gonna give a shout out here to the top 10. Actually, let's start with 11th place because those guys were announced in the top 10 and then later found out that they were
Oh my
actually booted from the
God.
top 10. Poor guys, Colton Thomas and
Software
Tony
glitches.
Casto. Yeah, just a pair of beauties. Ended up tripling up on the first day. And then unfortunately, it sounded like they lost a couple fish on day two that would have, put them firmly in the top 10, if not
That's
probably the
that's
top two.
tough to do. Gotta be a hard feeling. Catch 3 fish in a PMTT and you're not top 10. I feel like that's pretty rare.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, we'll get into all that. Then 10th place, shout out Ken Trail and Michael Logan. Lockton. Hand
Shout out,
Lockton.
shout out.
Shout out, shout out.
Yeah. Guys were coming into Eagle River defending their PMTT championship win from last year, and I would say defended quite nicely. Really
Oh
didn't
yeah.
even find out that they had made the top 10 outside of seeing Ken Trail's Facebook post from today. wouldn't have even guessed that they had caught a fish if it wasn't for seeing his post. So I
Right.
don't know. I
Outrageous.
don't know if we'll talk about that or
Software
not, but
glitches.
yeah, just tough. Would have been nice to know that they were in the mix, they were in the hunt. Ninth place, Jason Summers and Dan Matusik. Not surprising to see them in the top 10 at all. I think they were in second place, I want to say, after day one.
Yep. And big fish of the tournament too.
Yeah, they caught a dandy 46 and a quarter, 46 and a half, something like that on day one with a nice kicker, 34. Sounded like they lost a nice fish on the second day. It's one of those things where the bite's probably a little tricky for the local guys if Dan Watusik is not Dan and Jason are boating the fish on the second day. So and then eighth place, Brian Barker and Merrick Ball. They were in first after day one. Sounds like they had they had caught two nice fish, lost the third on day one, and weren't able to put any more fish in the boat on day two. Kind of a common theme with some of these guys here in that I've talked about so far. In seventh, you had Scott Popowski, I believe 2 pounder as he goes by, Chris
Shut
Reeby.
up.
Shout
Um,
out.
they caught fish down in Cave, so they're actually leading for Top Gun Team of the Year as well right now.
Shut up.
They smashed fish on both days. One of those things too, where I didn't even know that they had caught fish after day one. And then, they think they stuck three fish or something like that. Two or three fish on day two, to
Nice.
catapult all the way up into seventh. Peter Blickards, Jared Donar, sixth place. Peter, obviously local. We know him well to the Three Lakes area. They stuck a beautiful 45 and a half. Followed it with a 36 and a half on day two. So just some really good consistency there. Richie Doyle, Chris Schlosser, they were um, sitting good after day one as well. Followed up with a nice kicker fish that we were also looking for on day two. Got him that fifth place finish. Chuck Smida and Brian Klepper. Looks like they had two great days. Not exactly sure the fish that they caught, but yeah, both two really solid days. Matthew Lang and Bill Jans in third place. Same deal. They came in hot on Sunday. Seems like with a pile of fish. And then yeah, Mark Lajewski and Ryan Wallace just absolutely
No
owning the day
surprise
on
hearing that.
Sunday. No surprise hearing that name, but just owning the day on Sunday, which man, I'd love to see
Catching
and
four.
know what they were doing to catch four fish on
Yeah.
that day. It was
Jeez.
90 degrees, hot. Yeah, I mean, just some good stuff there. And then Dick Heckel and Rory Tuff coming in first
Damn.
place. PMTT
There's
Eagle
some
River.
names there. Shout out to the
Uh,
fellas.
yeah, five fish in
Shout
total.
out.
So five fish got it done. Really close race. I mean, total points, if you know kind of how on the PMTT scales it works, it was only separated by 4 points, which I believe Gus is an inch,
1 inch.
1 inch. So, man, those tail pinches and cracked jaws really made a world of
Yeah.
difference in the old
Hmm.
placing this week. But yeah, great tournament. Like I said, a lot of fish hit the bag. And I think Gus and I ended up in, what was it, Gus? 15th place?
Yeah, 15th. I think
Dang.
after day one, there was like a big shift from all the people that scored on day two of like 7 or 8 places or something like that. I
Hmm.
want to say.
That's wild.
Might have
I
been
thought
might
you
have
guys
been
had a good
nine actually.
chance, even
No, I
with
knew
blanking.
no, I knew once we talked to not that many people that caught fish and got ahead of us already that like, all right, well, if we're talking to only like a couple people and we
Yeah.
already got bumped to like, possibly eighth at best, we're like, yeah, there's no chance. I think people hammered fish in the morning. We could tell there was a big old window early on before that true heat set in, and I think it just got tough. Heard of some fish caught in like mid-morning moon phase on Sunday, but I think you had to be on the right pod or something like that and get just some bites. I don't know. I mean, that was a tough day. We hammered home on, the pattern we really wanted to do, and I still think it was a good solid pattern. I don't regret too much there. I mean that's I'm kind of already bleeding into day two for us, but um yeah, overall it was not an easy tournament to kind of figure out. I kind of explained this like slightly on their live, which who knows how much you can even hear when they chatted to us after day one when we were sitting in sixth, that this is the for the Eagle River chain up until, you know, what is it, June 21st or whatever, whenever the tournament was, it was the least amount I ever fished the chain from opener to that point. And it was also probably the least amount of fish caught and confidence with the chain going forward. When I've been guiding, I've been off the chain quite a bit and going elsewhere. Plus, there was the Eagle River, the Headwaters chapter, Muskie's Inc. put on the Spring Classic the weekend prior. So the whole week leading up to that, there was a ton of pre-fishermen. It didn't really make me want to go fish it. There's that whole weekend. And then right after that, it was just a ton of people up here hammering it before the PMTT. So the chain got zero breathing room. Immediately after it had Monday and Tuesday night leagues, just hammering down on it. And fish still are hitting the bag. It's unbelievable. I'm really just waiting for that summer pattern to hit because there was a giant bug hatch going on. A lot of fish were caught trolling. Max and I figured that out after about 3.5, 4 hours in the morning, moving one fish and a bunch of late lazy side image follows, backdoor side image. We're like, all right, a lot of fish are out deep. Let's just throw down the trolling stuff and pretty much hammer in a pattern that we do every time there's a bug hatch and just go hit specific areas with specific baits at specific line length back. It was like clockwork. Like, we didn't really even pre-fish a ton with trolling. We did a little bit. We got zero bites trolling pre-fishing. Um, but it was just kind of a recipe that we've done before. Just
Real quick,
semi-short lining crankbaits, small crankbaits.
was there a ton of fish caught in the Pro-Am week prior?
There was a ton. Yeah.
So those fish just recharged and ate again. Ooh, Booger 500. Um,
Dude, it's insane.
what so this was what when you guys first came to Eagle River in the PMTT, that was like 3 years ago now?
It's
Or
2022. Yeah,
yeah.
three. It was
And
three.
that was also June because you guys had caught that big one trolling, right?
Yeah, well, kind of like a hybrid trolling cast, blind
Yeah,
cast.
that's right.
That was still a funny story, but oh
So you
man,
kind of you kind of went back to that same game plan. Conditions were semi-similar to
same.
that week. Yeah.
Exact
N-
same. Yeah.
Exact same, except during the tournament was the giant heat up that we kind of had that week prior, which we caught fish trolling. But then last year we had that huge cold snap high of like mid
3 years
50s on
ago.
Sunday or something like that. Yeah, years ago. Sorry, this tournament was just pure heat the whole time and wind.
It was a really weird tournament because I would say we're not ones to usually ever troll in tournament. Um, realistically, like we always want to kind of cast. That's our default, even if it is a trolling bite. We're like, oh, we'll figure it out casting. But like we were not just hitting shallow weed spots on Saturday morning. I mean, we were fishing deep rocks, deep sand humps, like all stuff adjacent to open water where these bugs were loaded. And like Gus said, we were just not getting like any feedback from these fish outside of just pure laziness. So we kind of knew that we were always going to have trolling in our back pocket if all else fails. I mean, I talked to people after on Saturday when we were at the um I guess the update after Saturday when everyone goes there and they were like, yeah, I was shocked to see you guys out there trolling. Like we knew something was wrong with Eagle River when you guys are out trolling and not, buzzing around smashing spots. So,
Right.
At what
um,
at what point in on Saturday then did you fully commit to trolling?
well, we had this like series of spots that were all in a very, very close proximity to one another, and we knew that there was fish on them. And I pretty much was talking with Gus, and we are just like, all right, we do have to make the decision at some point in time to pull the plug on casting because we knew trolling, like I said, was an option at some point in time on Saturday. But the last thing you want to do is just like keep pounding your head against the wall. casting all these spots, not getting any fish. Next thing you know, you look at the time and it's like 1 p.m. and you got 2 hours left. So we knew, with trolling, it's just a time, it's a baits in the water type thing. So we're like, we need to give it an adequate amount of time. Let's hit this like complexes of spots, and if we don't move a fish or catch one, we're pulling the plug. We kind of just made that as like our rule of thumb. So we yeah, casted our hearts out at all those spots, and at that point still was not getting any feedback that we thought was patternable or really consistent to like catching fish. I mean, at this point we were like, hey, we we want to like do well here, obviously. So we're not just gonna, you know,
I don't want to
use
blanket the home
so on a
waters and
blank on the
like
home waters. So
we know
uh,
fish are getting caught as like hard as it seems for us, like barely getting any feedback. We're like, I know fish are getting caught. Like it feels just fishy enough with like these intermittent storms and getting delayed an hour with a not ideal situation in the morning of letting a bunch of people launch and not, giving a delay when there's apparent giant T storms in the area. Um,
terrible.
Terrible, just terrible. But no, I in the yeah, always in the back of our head and mind kind of we didn't discuss it fully, but like we looked at each other. It's like we gotta I mean like every time we putt to like into a spot, I'm like my graph is just absolutely juiced, dude. Like look at the 2D. Like it's just stupid. We gotta go to our jam on where the bug hatches and the bait is and we set up on those trolling passes and I think it took a little bit. It was not immediate. I think it took a good what'd you say? When we moved lakes and set the lines in, we kind of did a couple weaves in and out of like 1 to 2 cast lengths off the break, and then we did a couple passes like dead center of the lake, and then we got pushed close-ish to a break because some kid fell off a tube right in front of us. So I had to go to the left a little bit, and then we caught a short, like a 26 incher. So that kind of that kind of gave us the confidence to be like, all right, yeah, there's fish here, and they're snapping, like they're gonna eat. And we trolled around a little bit, and then we realized like a shit ton of people were trolling that area and we couldn't mark another one. So we're like, okay, we got to keep trolling, but we just got to go to a new area. The spot just got completely sterilized. Um, so we popped back over to where we were on the other lake, and I think it happened pretty quick,
Really
like
quick, yeah.
first pass.
First
Yeah,
pass.
and yeah, so that's when we got the 41.5 hammered none other than a freaking depth raider, an absolute
Let's
chain
go.
killer.
Perch depth
Yeah,
raider.
yeah. Gotta love that thing. So, yeah, we are speed trolling going in like the upper 3 to 4 mile an hour range, and that line just was singing. Like I could that little guy that we got, it totally zipped, and then he kind of heard another zip, but that's about all I heard. But this one was just full rod buckling over and a lot of line peeling, and we kept the boat going. And I'm like, Max, this is a real one. These head shakes are no joke. Like there's actual space between the head shakes. This is like, not a 26 incher. So got that one in. It was like a big headed, skinny, perfect tournament fish ever. It didn't overly dog me, but it had that length, that kind of sneaky length. So we're pretty stoked on seeing a fish of that size out in open water. And that was probably 4 to 5 cast lengths off the break. I mean, that wasn't exactly a targetable, castable fish. You'd have to
No.
really just get kind of lucky. So we were pumped. I mean, that's just a
Let
fish
you
on the
go.
board. We kind of, kept the streak alive of getting some fish in tournaments and getting some points, whether we got more fish or not, in that tournament. But then um, set the lines again, and before I could even like sit down and think another thought, freaking line starts zipping again, and stand up to go grab it out of the holder, and we're having a fire drill, and I yell at Max like it's off. By the time I pulled out of the holder, it was off, and that was just
Another
like
good
a
rip though.
that was a really good rep that one also, and I'm honestly thinking I might have had the drag set too tight because I locked it like a couple notches from the last fight and I never readjusted it, and it also zipped that hard So it was probably another, good at minimum upper 30s or better fish. You can always kind of tell from the rips. But that was unfortunate, but that also solidified, 2 for 3 in a very short amount of time. Like, okay, they're going trolling. There is a good amount of trollers out there, but we have the benefit of, you know, a lot of history on bug hatches and knowing all these little zones and spots we've gotten hit to pretty much go. Like, we weren't just gonna go hammer one area the rest of the tournament. We actually like hit specific basins of the lakes until we kind of found another sweet spot. So took a little while, but
Uh,
we got our next one later in the day.
how did you decide? Because I feel like 4 miles an hour, you're kind of cruising. Is that what you've done in bug hatches in the past, or I don't
It
know.
was
I just
water, yeah. It was
go ahead.
it was completely water temp driven and conditions. We've done really well. This might sound crazy, but we've done really well going like sub 3 miles an hour on cold fronts. But on warm-ups, for sure going faster. Looking back at some of the pictures we have of just like pure sunny days, I'll like kind of think in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember I ramped it up into like the upper 3 mile an hour range for that fish. And I'm actually pretty sh oh, that 41 and a half. I mean, who knows if this was the only reason we got it, but I was actually going like 3, 3, 3, 4. I must have just slowed down and we went right over it, marked it on side image, like right below that rod. And when it should have gone off, it didn't. So I just floored it into the upper threes, 4 mile an hour range, and then it just freaking just annihilated it. So that was pretty sweet. Um, but the next one never showed up on side image that we lost, hit. And then no, it's pretty yeah, like the water temps were what were they again? Like creeping into low to mid 70s, I want to say, like 73, 75
Yeah, yeah, they were in that
ish.
low 70, which is like usually when it starts to turn into like normal, summer pattern fishing up on the chain. But like you said, it was just too, it wasn't probably quite there yet, but there was just like too much, too much goodness and activity happen out deep in these like buggy pocketed areas. And after we got that 41 and a half, obviously the mood changed a lot. We were like, all right, let's try to hammer another one. We still had like 2 hours left in the day. So we were like, all right, if we can just get one more rip here, we might be sitting pretty good. And kept going, kept going, kept going. And just as we were kind of starting to talk, like, all right, hey, we got one nice fish on the board, something to build off of for tomorrow. Like you can catch three fish out here in a blink of an eye, if you stumble across like one good stretch or whatever. But just as we're talking about that at like 3:49, rod starts to zip. I think actually Gus made the call. We were trolling, and then I was like, "Well, should we go this way or should we go that way?" And Gus told me, "All right, we got to go this way." And so we go this way, and thank God we did. So that one starts zipping at like 3:49, and get that one in the net. Take the pictures, send them in. I think at 3:54. So it was our latest registered fish in a PMTT. Tournament hours end at
Success. Yep.
4 p.m. So yeah,
Buzzer beater, yeah.
successfully. So yeah, it was a true buzzer beater, which felt really good. Like, when you catch a fish in these tournaments, if you catch one like super early and then you go the rest of the day like not getting anything, it's kind of one of those things where you're like, oh, like did the bite change? Or did we like just kind of get lucky? But when you catch two late on Saturday, like I don't know about you guys, but I thought like the mood was maybe the best it's ever been after like a day one of a tournament where it's like, damn, we might be really onto something here. Like they're eating what we
Hmm.
are trying to do. So I would say we felt pretty outstanding going into Sunday. Like, hey, we have a real shot. I mean, I think we were sitting in sixth place or something like that after day one.
Yeah,
Um,
not by much. Like I think we were only like a 31 and a half, 32 incher behind if we
right,
got,
which is
third.
like, which at that time felt really doable, obviously to get that, and then we were starting to think bigger things. I think after we got that second one.
Hmm.
Um, so. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, home tournaments, they're a lot of fun off the water, uh, like for all the reasons. You get to stay at your own place, and you get to host people and show them around your neck of the woods, and it's cool seeing other people experience the North Woods of Wisconsin for, maybe the first time or they haven't been up there that much. But it's really weird fishing home water tournaments. Like it just feels, yeah, I don't know, just odd. Like we caught those two fish and we're like, oh, that's great. But it felt so, also at the same time, it kind of felt like a little pedestrian too. Like, all right, we should be catching fish out here. We've fished here for so long and, everyone's catching fish. So it's like, I don't know. It was a weird kind of feeling, I guess, after day long. Like it felt really good, but
Well,
at the same time, it was like, all right.
What was
yeah, I
the
mean, yeah.
I was
Go
just gonna
ahead.
ask what the vibe was like with the other fellows that were staying with you guys this weekend after day one. I don't know. I didn't see McLean's results on the weekend, but they have any extra input?
Tough. I mean, overall, the casting bite seemed like super inconsistent. They mainly casted, and I think they trolled a little bit on Sunday. Um, but don't get me wrong, fish were moving. Like if you're able to kind of put the time in and really search for some pods of fish, there was definitely the bigger fish to be had up in the weeds. I can confidently say that. I mean, sure, there was maybe a chance at like a possible mid 40s out in open water, but it seems like that 42 mark is about as big as they get out there when the bug hatch happens. Typically, those big fish just like suction cup into the weeds and they get like super hard to get until about 4th of July, second week of July. And then out of nowhere, if you get like a decent weather day, you can really find them. But um, I was talking to a lot of people, Max, and you probably heard the same, but a lot of people were moving like 45 to 48-inch class fish on the Eagle
Yeah.
River chain. I wouldn't say consistently, but it was like kind of common to hear that from people seeing or hooking and losing pre-fishing like 44, 45 plus inch fish on the
Hmm.
chain, which is awesome to hear. I mean, it's cool that they're still going. For you and me, we know that like our pre-fishing was not that much casting. We did a little bit of trolling and a little bit of looking around and a hell of a lot of fishing not on the chain. It's like that was our pre-fishing. Go out and have fun. Go and try and hammer some bites, find some, beat up on some fish that I found with clients as of late and that worked out too. We had a lot of fun with that and we found a lot of different patterns. We found fish on rocks, we found fish in open water, we found fish in shallow cabbage. I mean, we were bouncing all over the place. So,
Yeah, it was a blast. It is one of those funny things like pre-fishing your home tournament, it's a really difficult thing to do because it's like, oh, well, I mean, call out a spot. I mean, oh, what are we gonna hit? This spot again or go pre-fish this spot? Like, what are you really gonna learn? You don't want to burn fish. You don't want to, I don't know. So it's really difficult to, I think, do it successfully. I mean, you can go out and drive around, look at some stuff, just make sure it looks good and whatnot. And I mean, the little time we did pre-fish, like we found fish. It's just
yeah.
way different than going to a lake that's not your home water. When you're going to pre-fish for a tournament, it's like you really hammer down and try to find out what's going on that week. Whereas when you're at your home tournament, I think we kind of get stuck in this issue of like, I think it works out to a degree where we can, catch some fish, but it's like we're just kind of going off of past history and not really going off of exactly what could win us the tournament that week. So it's like it's one of those things where, do the next time if we do a PMTT event again in Eagle River or different tournament in Eagle River, do we pre-fish a little harder? Do we try to, buckle down and, figure
Yeah.
out some bites, or do we just kind of hope to one day, work off history and we have one of those banger days out there?
It's
I don't know what
it's
the
tough,
solution is.
man. I mean,
Tough.
literally like thinking back on it, it's like we found a pot of fish casting the short time we did on the chain on like, spots we like when we did just a little bit of that. And then you go into day one and it's like, all right, well, there's definitely a window on the morning of day one, like right post storm. There was people absolutely that caught fish immediately. And we thought in our head, like, if we get on these pot of fish, we could catch three, maybe four very quickly. And that didn't happen. And then all of a sudden we go back half 4 hours of the day. We get four bites trolling, catch three of them, one of them short, and it's like, well, shit. If we trolled the entire day, would we have maybe caught those, or would we have caught more? Like, we knew the
100%.
spots, we just didn't do it. We committed to, you know, something else that also works very well, but the bite was just so it was just so random. I don't know. That's been the pattern of the last few weeks, is that there's no pattern. I mean, league results tell me that the numbers in Monday Night League have been low. Tuesday Night League has been very low. I've been talking with those guys in the chain, and there's been zero consistency. Usually, you can see a pattern sometimes, like, oh, the north end of the chain is going off. Oh, catfish and cranberry are going off. No, it's literally like every fish is caught from a different lake, and you look at I get the time slips, and everyone hears it at the end of the night, and like this past night, reading off these times, there's one caught at 4:30, there's one caught at 6:20, there's one caught at 8:20, there's one caught at 5:10, 6:47, and 7:30. It's like
Whatever.
there's no pattern to that at all. Every
Oh,
single lake is different. There's only six caught in the last Monday Night League. So,
Yeah, and I mean,
yes.
you heard that too, just from talking with other guys that were fishing. Like, yes, there was, a pile of fish caught trolling, there was fish caught casting. We think that there was fish caught trolling, that people were moving casting that either slid out, barely throughout the day, and then they get picked off by trollers when they were getting moved casting in the morning. So it was
hmm
just like it was such a timing deal. And you see it like the local guys down the leaderboard, like they're sprinkled in here and there. Um, but like nobody caught, a bunch or a pile of fish. Like it just felt very
Nobody ran
random.
away with it.
Right. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
it was I mean, I'm happy that the PMTT had a stop where a bunch of fish got caught, and it felt like, a lot of people were
Punching
figuring it
their
out,
championship tickets
punching
pretty
their
much as well.
championship ticket. Yeah. But at the same time, depending on who you talk to, it's like there were some really good sticks that just were like, we're not seeing what we should be seeing with all these fish getting caught. Like it's just so I just feel like if you were on the bad side of the luck coin this week, you were just getting totally like pull your hair out frustrated. That's how we felt on Sunday.
Yep.
Do they like record or release what lakes they were caught on?
No, then you never get asked that or need to provide
Okay.
that. I can
That'd been
guarantee you
interesting.
there's a absolute crap ton caught on catfish. I can tell you that
A
for
lot of
free.
boats.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sunday
and we
morning
might have
was a
caught
little bit
some
of
too there.
kick to the nuts on Sunday morning. Gus, we had our trolling pass to start the day. We come around the corner and there is a boat right where we were going to start. And guess what they had in the water? Their net.
And that.
Ha!
So we had to switch up where we wanted to start, and we sat down, and then we looked behind us, and another boat's got their net in the water on a waypoint from a muskie we had pre-fishing that we went by, and we saw porpoise on Saturday, and they had their net in the water right on that spot, and we drove by them like, oh my God. And then on the very tip of this weed point, another net goes in the water, and we're just sitting there like, come on, trolling rods, you can do it. Because like one was caught kind of deeper weed edge, and then one was caught trolling, and then the one was actually caught casting, but it was open water as well. The people were just absolute maniacs out there.
Just
just
hucking.
drifting, just
That's
drifting the
insane.
abyss,
Just
and they
hucking,
got one,
man. Just
dude.
hucking. Tip of the cap to them, man.
Yeah,
I
it's
that is something you could really only see in tournament fishing.
yeah.
I've never done
Zero
that
live.
before. I've never seen zero live. No one's out there obviously with that, and you're just in the middle of the abyss, just hucking and grinding in 90-degree weather. Like I couldn't. I mean, I
Very
wasn't even
admirable.
pissed when I saw them catch that fish. I was just like,
They
respect,
they
man.
deserve it.
You deserve that. We
Seriously.
watched them pound that area, open water all day on Saturday. So to see them stick one on Sunday, I just like good on you, gents. That is a commendable effort right there. You
Yeah.
know, that's true respect for the open water game.
We did drive over a couple fish on side image on Sunday
Oh,
morning, but I think our timing was just off, or they were fish that were caught the day before, dude. I mean, something somehow was off, even though I think we had the recipe like of where the baits needed to be, small crankbaits, right down in their face, pretty much follow the bug line, get them down 6 to 8 feet, money. And it was nothing. Just not even a single rip on Sunday. Drove over some heads, no rips. So that pains you. I feel like doing that and getting no rips trolling was a little bit more painful than at least maybe like grinding it out casting the whole time. Obviously,
100%.
we would have been way more exhausted with that heat. I mean, not gonna lie, a little happy there was a trolling bite going on with how hard we fished
Yeah.
the week prior. I had a bunch of guide trips, and I knew I had a huge stream of them coming up or now until 4th of July and throughout the rest of the summer, not having a ton of time off. So like I was very okay with a trolling bite. I didn't want to sound lazy, but it's like, damn, if they're eating 6-inch crankbaits and you just gotta toss them behind the boat, get me behind the wheel.
I was good with it too. I appreciate you letting me play captain for a bit too during a couple of days to keep my mind into it. Cause yeah, normally in tournaments, man, I have so much fun like just grinding it out, casting, just like doing that whole song and dance. So it felt kind of weird getting done on Sunday, especially after blanking. And it's just like I didn't do shit today. I
Yeah, it's like,
just
damn.
I just went on a boat ride. Like,
Yeah,
normally you're like body's all tired. You're like, all right, I gave it my all, man. There's nothing I could do.
probably
Um,
more
you know,
mentally exhausted after trolling all day.
yeah, it just feels a little bit like when you blank trolling, you just kind of like, could I have done more? Even though we knew what we were gonna do, and like I was
Give it your
totally
all,
good.
son.
I was totally good at the game plan, but then you
Hmm.
blank and you get done, and you're just like, all right, time to head home. And I
All
don't even
right.
feel like I fished today.
Yeah, that's nice.
So
That's nice.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's what it is.
Is what it is. So yeah, had a blast though. Good times.
So much fun. The whole week was a blast. We saw a bunch of people, got to do a cookout, and yeah, it's just a good time. Good time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't know. You got anything else, Brian, to ask us on that? I mean, trolling, your favorite, you know.
No, no, I don't need any of your trolling tactics. Heard enough
All
of
right,
that
sick.
tonight. I'm more curious how you guys stand in terms of like Top Gun since you didn't place, but you still caught fish. Are you like still in a good running or what?
We're in second right now, right
Oh,
behind
yeah, that's not bad.
Scott and Chris. Yeah, not bad, not
Okay.
bad.
So you don't, so like placing doesn't really affect that. It's more just fish caught.
It's like well, how do you explain it? You get a
Points per
certain amount of
tournament.
points per tournament, and you get like
Okay.
10 for showing up. So, I last time I looked at it, which was, you know, because it went back to Eagle River Three Lakes, a lot of fish got caught. I think there's 8 or 9 teams right now that have fish in Cave and Eagle River. So
Okay.
it's fairly close too. I think we're like 5 or 6 points behind first place, and then behind us is another like 8 or 9, and then it keeps kind of progressively going like 15 behind.
Yeah.
Um, and that's just by placement. I think you get 160 points for first, 151 or whatever is 10th place, and so on, basically.
And then when do you guys head over to Minnesota? Or I guess
That
Gus head over.
is that is going to be, I believe, the 22nd, 23rd is that tournament. Friday, Saturday. I will head down that Tuesday, the 19th.
It's gonna be a big one. Got a boat of fish somehow out in the abyss,
I'd
casting the
like to try
abyss.
and no, we're gonna get them on a shallow bite, I hope, and I hope that we place or place well. We're still looking for that dub to add in the arsenal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it'd be nice to get a casting fish at Cast Bemidji because we got one jigging at Cave, one trolling or a couple trolling in Eagle River. It'd be nice to do some good old fashioned just hucking at
Mhm.
Cast Bemidji. You
love
know what I
me a
mean?
huck and pray.
Yeah,
Love me the huck and pray technique.
yeah, yeah. So yeah. But no, we can really just kind of put a bow. I know, Gus, you've been out just grinding in this hot weather, man.
Dude.
I feel for you. Hopefully you get that nice cool down here the rest of the week and you get some hungry fish to follow that.
Yeah, wouldn't mind the fish kind of changing their mood. The heat, it's day 4 of the heat wave and temps 6 days ago on this recording were 59, 60 degrees, and now they're anywhere between 76 and 79. So,
You're talking
um,
water temps.
talking water temps, yeah. No, air temps, I don't know, 9,000. I don't know. Today had
Yeah.
zero freaking wind. I'm sitting out there like, oh my God,
Use a little
what
wind
am I
here.
doing? Could use a little wind here. That might be the
Yeah, it
intro.
just sucks, man. Just puts a bunch of fish out into the open water with some grumpy moods and you know, without putting a bait right in their nose. It's gonna be tough to get them to eat. So
Dude,
Wonder if
it's
there's a
tough.
way you could do that.
I wonder if there's a way. That's the dark side right there.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
No fun side. No, I mean, guiding it and whatnot, I have to go with the conditions given, and I don't always have the time or the clients where I'd feel comfortable to go at night, but if I was a non-busy guide schedule single person and you had time on your hands, I'd go out at night right now. But we're about to get some rain, and last time we got some rain, the fish went absolutely ape shit on blades.
Thirsty.
So I'm kind of looking forward to that, to be honest. It's just gonna get the temps back to normal. Another thing, I mean, I'm gonna keep trying to hammer on some open water trolling for sure, while kind of have the bug hatch going on. But I think in the next week or two, the big hexes, the big mayflies, I think are going to hatch and kind of be done at some point. I mean, this is kind of why everyone's like, "Oh, the fish just don't bite on the weeds until 4th of July." Like this is why you got to wait till that bug hatch is done, and it's just so random. I mean, you can absolutely catch fish in the weeds right now, but the consistency on it has been very difficult, even being out every day following these fish around. They are not staying in one place yet. Um,
why would they? I mean,
Unlimited
that's
bait
the
out
issue.
deep, and the water temps rising extremely fast. Like they want consistency, so a lot of fish have kind of laid down in the column a little bit, it seems. So we just need some consistency again. I mean, we had such a cold snap prior to this, and now that was like an extreme heat wave. Um, I don't know. I could see it getting a lot better though. I can't wait for summer established patterns to hit. You probably see it in my eyes.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
the listeners, but you guys.
Yeah, yeah. That's all right. Hey,
Character building.
not every pod's gonna have the high energy we usually bring. This one's just a little just a little
Well, yeah,
late night
yeah.
deal after some long days.
Well, you guys got a taste of this somewhat, but so Max and I, Alex and Ryan last week went out to a lake that we haven't gone to in a while, and it took us a little bit to find them, but we found them in this kind of like deeper part off of a break line, and they just seemed to be stacked. I mean, that day we caught one or whatever trolling, a small one to kind of get the confidence up, like, hey, look for the bait. And then we marked them, marked them, marked them. I'm like, all right, we should probably cast this. And then proceed to just totally mess up on hooking the fish, unfortunately. But we found some absolute giants, and they seem to be just absolute stacked in there, if you remember, Max. And
Oh yeah.
I'm like, all right, tournaments this weekend, Monday, I'm going back there with clients. Weather's like the same, it's staying hot, like all the fish should stay, all the bait should stay deep. They should be just sitting out here in 15 to 18, 20 feet of water. It doesn't sound super deep, but for, some of the smaller, shallower lakes up here, that's deep. And go back there. It's gorgeous weather that morning. There wasn't even an ounce of bait. Didn't mark a single muskie. I'm like, all right, well, welcome to northern Wisconsin. This is absolute bullshit. So we had to switch lakes and go find some other fish that we had pegged the week before. Those weren't there. So I've been lake hopping. This is getting ridiculous.
Oh man, I feel for you. Well, you'll figure it out as you always do. It's just part of the game, man. These fish will just drive you insane, There's no doubt about it, but it's kind of what keeps it fun, keeps it challenging. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Wouldn't be
True,
fun. It'd be bass
true, true.
fishing. So, just
Can
kidding.
always go bass fishing. Yeah. All right. Well, we got a couple on the lines to kind of get back to. We've held off on a few of them, especially when we had the last pod with old Dougie Fresh. Let's just let her
Uh,
rip. We got three right here. So, and before we do them, as always, if you want to send them in, you can just give us a DM on how you can do that. It's typically with an iPhone. You just do a voice memo and just share it with either Max or I on text messages, or give me a like a time where like you're gonna call me so I don't answer and then leave a voicemail. I can download it from there and send it to myself. So that works. But let's just rip the first one we got from another longtime listener and already on the line sender inner. We got Mr. Poorly Made.
Hey guys, Poorly Made Muskie Means calling into the podcast once again. This special shout out to you, Brian. Everyone talks trash on you and talks about how you like to wear all denim and how you stomp around and change lures all the time. But Brian, I have special respect for you. You get excited when you see and catch a fish. And I also don't blame you for changing out lures because as much as everyone says it's dumb to change out lures, these guys go out and buy $1,000 worth of lures every year and only throw $100 worth. And you're making sure you're getting through your rotation. Ain't nothing wrong with that, brother.
Amen.
Ain't nothing
Amen,
wrong with
brother.
that, brother.
It's like every week we get these call-ins or people on the pod. I'm just building my army of people who have my back against you haters, and it's so good to see. Shout out Poorly Made.
We're just trying to keep you in check. That's all. We ain't hating on the game. We just
Uh-huh. All of
uh-huh.
a sudden I
I
got
mean,
people behind me, y'all are getting quiet. That's crazy.
if you have one hater, I am one. You have two haters, I am one of them. I'll always be a hater. I'm glad that you got an army that's got your back, man. It's I know you need the confidence boost, so I'm glad to see people are reaching out, making sure that you're okay.
Hey,
Giving
Poorly
you a
Made.
little, giving you a little rub, giving you a little belly rub, pat on the head, making sure
Can,
that you're all good.
can we get a an edited pic, Poorly Made of you, me, and Phil Stodola posted up, kind of like a squad, like walking away from explosion or something? That's my army right now.
Holding glide baits.
Yeah.
Blowing up the glide baits in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And
That'd
then you
actually
got
be
in your
kind of
hand
sick.
just
Middle fingers up, something like that.
Yeah,
just
that'd
a
be
bunch of
sick.
blades with tails on it, crankbaits with blades on the back of it, just
With
some odd
mods.
hella mods. Everything with the twister tail on the back of it.
It's good to have
Oh,
haters,
bulldog.
Brian. It's good to have
Yeah.
haters, all right?
Yeah, no, I love them.
It means you're getting
Yeah.
recognized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call in. Good call
All
in.
right. That was awesome. All right, let's get the next one from Fish with Kish, Mr. Bobby Kish.
Good morning, boys. This is the Mott inaugural March Madness bracket champion, Fish with Kish, calling in.
Whoa.
Wanted to make sure to
Congrats.
give Papa
Shout
Manti
out.
and Gus a shout out on their giant fish of recent. Sounds like the boat needs a refill on shooters, if you know what I mean. But I did have a question, so I can figure out who I can trust most on the host panel. Is there a dipping sauce of choice for cheese curds? Let me know your
Wow.
answer. Peace.
I mean, this is easy. I think we'll all be in agreement here. It's ranch all day.
It's some sort of like house-made ranch, yeah.
We're getting honey mustard.
No, I don't think I
Kidding.
am.
I'm
No.
kidding. I'm kidding.
I don't think I am. That's
No,
not an
no,
option.
I would say ranch, and then I'd say ketchup is really the only other acceptable one, I think.
Ketchup is nasty. That's like a tater
It's
tot.
not
No.
it's not ideal. Ketchup is fine in those like really, really, really heavily breaded ones, which aren't always
No,
the best. I mean,
I'd
you
go.
got to
I'd go
do
raw. I'd go raw before ketchup.
I
That's
think,
crazy.
I mean, raw is good too, but I think as you get older, Max, you'll start to appreciate ketchup.
I don't know.
As you
No,
get
that's like a little
older,
kid. That's like a little
yeah.
kid dipping sauce.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta get a little bit older and wiser, and you'll start to appreciate it.
That's so
What? That
bad.
doesn't make any sense.
All right, consensus answer is ranch. I appreciate you calling in.
Doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
Doesn't make
Appreciate the
any
call in.
sense.
he just knows
Oh
he's
my
so dead
God.
wrong. Uh, as you get older, you'll appreciate ketchup. I just don't think that that's something that like
That just
your
doesn't
taste
make
buds
sense.
like age into, you know? Put it on a
Oh,
little hot dog, like little French fries.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's crazy.
Big ketchup guy though.
Yeah,
That
I can tell.
checks out.
All right. All right, let's get into our final on the line we got here from Mr. Carl. I'll let this one rip.
Hey guys, Kyle here. I got a question for you guys about like fishing nicknames. My buddy Phil, when we're fishing together, always likes to call me Dr. Pike, but I think that's just because he's jealous of all the nice 25-inch pike I catch while we're musky fishing. But I don't know, as far as like musky nicknames go, it seems like every bar you go to up north, there's some guy in there named Musky Jim or Musky Bob or Musky Dave. Just curious on how many muskies you got to catch before you get to put musky in front of your first name. You guys have any cool nicknames? All right, I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you,
Huh.
Carl.
Thank you for the call in, Carl.
I don't know. I
Shout
feel like
out Hunty Tails.
the first part of that question, I would like how many muskies you have to catch to get the musky surname. I would say it's got to be. I think it's more of like an how old are you kind of thing. I think you got to be
It's got to be
50
age.
plus. You got to be like 50 plus. You got to be fishing for your last 30 years of life.
Hmm. You gotta have
Like you're not 25 rolling in there calling yourself Musky Brian.
you gotta
Gotta be
have
a
like
fishy
a
dude.
you can't have a boat that's newer than like 2004.
Yeah.
Like it's gotta be like
Just
a 2003 920 Ranger
Hmm.
with like some like
620.
19 oh sorry, Jesus. Fuck.
That's all right. We're
Some
not
like
Ranger owners, so
some like 2003 620 Ranger that's got some sort of like some sort of off the wall color on it, like purple or
Sparkly.
like a dark green, something like that, like
Just
some old
down
school
imaging.
looking boat. Yeah, just 2D.
Sucker
Um
bobbers sitting on the back for no reason.
yeah, like you got like you got like a couple Suics with just like an ungodly amount of hook rash somewhere in your boat that you've like
they're older
casted
than the
for
boat.
20 years. Right. I
Yeah.
think it's like, yeah, like you're saying, it's more of a persona thing than
Yeah.
like an actual amount of fish that you catch. Like you could catch two muskies a year and still be called like Muskie Brian if you checked other requisite boxes.
Yeah. Like a bunch of those other boxes. But I think you got to be I mean, 50 plus years old. You got to have time in the water, experience, and a lot of fishtails, some that are true, some that aren't, but you got to be able to tell
Right.
Sure.
Right.
them.
Yeah. Anything else that you'd have to, what are some other requisite boxes that have like a Muskie Brian or a Muskie Gus type name outside of the old Ranger or old boat,
Um,
crazy color, couple hook rash Suics?
your entire clothing has to be just khaki color, I think.
Yeah, just insane drip.
Just insane drip, black belt buckle, uh, possible Keens. I don't know. You
Yeah,
gotta,
King.
That's so
it's
spot
just
on.
Insane.
huge drip.
Cigarettes,
You
maybe. I
know,
mean, like cigs, like guy that enjoys his
Cigs
time at the
might
bar, telling
help.
stories.
You
Yeah.
It might knock a
definitely,
few years off. Like if you're doing SIGs, maybe 45 is the prerequisite
I would.
age.
yeah. I wouldn't say SIGs is like
So you look
necessary,
50.
but definitely definitely a bonus point.
Yeah.
Um like you probably were like against, like catch and release at one point in time in your life.
Yes. And you claim to have seen a handful of world records in the Northwoods of Wisconsin.
Yeah, 60 by 60s as we call them.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like definitely a back in my day kind of guy. Like
Yeah.
fishing was just so much
Hmm.
better
Hmm.
till all these like kids started getting out
Yeah.
there.
Damn kids is your favorite phrase, every other sentence.
definitely have gotten in a
Yeah,
few Facebook scrums, as
Mhm.
you've adopted that in your older age.
Hated
yeah.
Facebook when it came out, and now this Muskie guy is on it every night before bed.
Gotta have your profile
Like
picture
Muskie
of you
Jim.
holding a muskie, and then when somebody clicks on your profile, you have no pictures of muskies.
Oh,
Hmm.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, no, that could be a good one. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
All right. Sweet.
yeah.
Maybe
Nicknames for you guys? Oh man. I mean, I call y'all Beavis and Butthead every now and again when don't get help
Damn.
packing the boat.
Yeah, that ain't
I'm
right.
trying to think what else. Nah, it adds up.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I was trying to think of nicknames too, but I don't. Nothing that's like Muskie related. I don't know. Nothing comes to mind, I don't think.
I mean, we call you Frog, but that's just
Yeah, that's not.
not musky or fishing related.
I don't know of anything else.
We call our buddy Jack Big Beast. I mean, that's just like
You
you can
just earn
figure that out.
earn those stripes.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to earn that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really think of anything else.
No, I don't really have any nicknames for you guys. Just kind of call you Brian and Gus.
Yeah, I don't know even what I call you. Just hey.
I don't
Champ.
think you know my
How you
name. I think
doing?
you just
Yeah, I
say
think it's
hey.
like, hey champ, hey
Yeah,
boss man.
you say that, and I'm just like, what? What the hell do you want? This can't be good.
Little bro or something like that.
Dude, if you just call me little bro.
Hey, some harsh
Uh,
buddies.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks, bud.
I'm not your buddy guy.
Big guy.
Man. Good
Well,
questions tonight.
yeah, those are awesome. I'm glad we caught up with those. But yeah, if you want to send them in, just let us know. Give us a shout. Check out Muskies on Tap on Facebook and Instagram. Also, Suggs Fishing on Facebook and Instagram. That's where you can get a hold of us. You can also find some other cool stuff and guide service info on www.sugsfishing.com. I will be putting out a post or a story of some kind to kind of fill up the last remaining dates I do have in July and August, which are, I don't think, any more than like 10 or 12 days right now. So, not many, but if you are looking up to get in the fall after some sucker fishing, possible trolling, casting, jigging, whatnot, I still got plenty of openings there. So, I'll get a word out there once that starts filling up a little bit more. But that's kind of a update there. You know, it kind of gave water temps. Fish are absolutely everywhere. Lakes are hot and cold, so just kind of bounce around until you find something that's on, and just pray that the weather stays somewhat consistent at some point. And not to be like a weather complainer guy, because in some cases it's on my side, in some cases it's not on my side. But yeah, could use a little consistency. But keep plugging away, and one of the best months, one of the better months is right around the corner, July. Definitely a good numbers month, and then I am just ever so waiting patiently for August on getting the
August.
getting the pigs.
August. That's a thick age.
August. So, you guys got anything else on the docket that you can think of before we sign off here?
I think it's important to note that the Thunder got away with one. Hope Tyrese Halliburton's healthy. Gruesome Achilles injury. Hate to see it game 7. Guy kind of knew it was gonna happen and still went out there.
Nice. I did not watch that game.
Figured.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, not a
Sorry,
big
NBA
NBA, not a
watchers.
big NBA pod.
Golf World, Tommy Fleetwood chokes it away again. 3-putt on the last. Keegan Bradley, Captain America, putting his foot down on his throat. Hopefully, a little bit of foreshadowing for the Ryder Cup later this year. But Tommy's a good
USA.
lad. Hate to see it.
USA. Yeah, that was a tough watch. Really tough
Mhm.
That
watch.
was tough.
Felt
I've
And I
Tommy
been,
don't think
Spain,
we.
absolute
Oh,
choke job.
yeah, I've been seeing a lot of this posting this week about how like the golf season's pretty much over. We got one more major here in a few weeks, and that's it. There's no more signature events. Then you get into some bullshit FedEx Cup playoffs that nobody really cares about. They got to adjust the schedule. I mean, summer just started. What are we doing here?
Yeah, summer did just start. They got to move the
It's
PGA
ridiculous.
back to August. Summer is like just kicking right
Yeah.
now. We're
I,
just getting going.
I mean, the first signature event's in like January in Hawaii. I'm like, I don't care about golf then.
No,
Move all that back a couple months.
right. Yeah,
Absurd.
yeah.
Damn, Jay
We're
Monahan, get him out of there.
come on. He's literally on his way out the
He
door.
is.
I mean, we are shortly entering peak golf, peak muskie season here. We're like this is the time is now. 4th of July is in a couple weeks.
Mhm.
Shit really starts to get going.
Mhm.
And same with PMTT. Why don't we just change that schedule up a little bit, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Why not? I
Eerily
mean,
similar to the tour.
do we
Why
really
not?
need to already have two events down before 4th of July?
Just
I don't
only
know.
one more qualifier? What's
Yeah,
going
like
on?
still working out the kinks, getting into fishing shit. You know
I
what
mean,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
Yeah.
I do know what you're saying. I mean, shit, last week I almost had first my personal first bucktail fish of the year, 2 months prior than what I did last year, where I didn't get a bucktail fish personally until August. This year, I tried to get one in June. Thing came so hot into the eight, and I totally botched the hook set. I'm like, damn. I thought about it. I'm like, I haven't even had a
Rusty.
fish come in and eat on the eight on a bucktail yet this year. And I'm like, oh wait, I haven't been
Hmm.
throwing them.
Sounds like
Uh,
somebody needs a lesson on how to work a bucktail, Brian.
All
yeah.
right,
I
that'll
know.
be
I
next
just made note
pod.
of
We
that.
got bucktail masterclass, how to work a bucktail, how to reel it in. Brian can be the king of that one. We all know he loves
I'm
bucktails.
better
It's
off telling people, what colors are should be involved when you make a custom. Um, but was
he's a
was
color
the
guy.
was Cave Run exactly 2 months ago?
Damn, I think it was.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, what the hell is that gap? I feel like Cave Run would be better if you push it back to like May 15th or something.
Probably. I mean, I guess I never even thought about. Well, I
Or
don't
just
know. I don't know.
just, you know.
They've been doing it
I
the
don't
same
know.
way for a long time. They got their system down. Who am I to say? But it is a little
Hmm.
weird. We only got one more qualifier. Feels like summer just started kicking. And yeah, I don't know. It's all good though. I'm really excited for Cass and Bidgie. I think that's gonna be fingers crossed a good Minnesota bite. Um, I don't know. When's the
Let's
next
find
time you're
some
getting out, Brian?
I don't know.
4th of
Fourth?
July.
Yeah.
Come up here, do a little
Yeah,
fishing.
probably fourth. 4th of July won't be this weekend. I think the following weekend's the fourth, right?
Yeah, it's not this weekend. It's the following
Yeah.
weekend. This comes out, and then we got yeah, because the 4th is on a Friday. This comes out on the 26th. We'll have one more pod right before the 4th.
Yep.
Yeah, there you
Usually
go,
you're
folks.
never hammering them. It's not a bender weekend on the fourth, but I mean shoot, last Labor Day only needed a couple hours to get her done, so we'll
Hey,
see what happens.
We got to get our
we'll see
better
what
weekend on the
happens.
books for this
Oh,
year.
we got it. We got it. It's in August.
Do we
August.
though? My August
Good,
is like booked out, so
good
I
to
don't
know.
What?
know
I've told you about this weekend for like a long time. It's like every year. It's the same weekend.
when that be.
It's that championship weekend. It's like the 15th, 16th, 17th.
Oh yeah, I can't do that. I got work shit.
Mm.
Damn.
Damn. All right. We'll walk. Well, yeah, I had that blocked off
Yeah,
my
let me see what I can
guiding
do.
schedule for a while. So, all right, we'll talk about this later. Boys need
I'm
to get a
going to
bender
bed.
weekend in because if it's not that weekend, then
And the
there's
band
not a
is breaking
single
up.
there's not a single weekend until like late October. So,
Oh, perfect.
yeah, sounds great. Turnover. All right, Brian, take us away. I gotta go to bed.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to this episode of Muskies on Tap. Quite the monotone episode here, guys. Didn't quite get it done with a top 10, but the guys have not lost hope. Second in the running for Top Gun. I don't know how that happened. Someone let them sneak up there. Big, 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 big tournament ahead of Minnesota here. Whenever that's going to be, I would assume 2 months from now because they stagger these things out. But good luck once they get over there. A lot of warm weather, guys. 4th of July right on the corner. We'll break down the 4th of July and the importance of that next episode. Stay tuned. Peace.